The cold in Chicago at 2 a.m. doesn't just chill you, it eats you. I was standing outside Terminal 3 at O'Hare, watching a blizzard swallow the city, while my phone battery ticked down to 4%. The wind was cutting through my thin coat like a knife, and the only thing colder than the air was the silence on the other end of the line. I called my mother. Cynthia. Again. It rang once. Twice. Then nothing. She didn't just let it go to voicemail. She declined the call. A second later, the notification popped up. User busy. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over the redial button, trying to understand what I was seeing. Then I saw the Instagram notification from my brother. Tyler. A live video. Entrepreneur of the Year party, let's go. The room was warm, the champagne was flowing, and there was Cynthia, laughing, holding a glass of wine, surrounded by people who thought she was a saint. She had blocked my call mid-ring because my emergency was interrupting her toast. I wasn't just stranded in a snowstorm. I was being actively erased so they could enjoy their appetizers. That 4% battery wasn't just a number. It was the exact amount of energy I had left for this family. Before I tell you exactly how I made them regret every single second of that night, drop a comment and let me know where you're listening from. I want to see who's here with me. I didn't get home until 48 hours later. I walked through the front door, exhausted, smelling like stale airport coffee and despair. Dragging my suitcase across the hardwood floor, I expected silence, maybe a note. Instead, I walked into an interrogation. Cynthia was sitting at the kitchen island, scrolling through photos of Tyler's party on her iPad. She didn't ask if I was okay. She didn't ask how I survived a blizzard with no money and a dead phone. She didn't even look up. "You embarrassed us," she said, her voice light and airy, like she was discussing a stain on the carpet. "Tyler's investors were asking where his sister was. I had to tell them you were having one of your moods." I stood there, feeling the blood pound in my ears. I am Linda, 28 years old. I spend my days managing crises for Fortune 500 companies, spinning disasters into gold, cleaning up messes for people who make 10 times my salary. I know how to handle hostile questions. But standing in that kitchen, I felt 12 years old again. "I wasn't having a mood," I said, my voice raspy. "I was stranded. You blocked my number." "Oh, stop it. You're home now, aren't you? You always figure it out. You're resilient." Resilient. That was their favorite word for me. It was the weapon they used to justify everything they did. For years, I thought my family was just tough, that their cruelty was a specific kind of love designed to make me strong. That's the trap of normalized cruelty. They didn't neglect me to toughen me up. They neglected me to control me. By convincing me that my pain was a sign of my strength, they ensured I would never ask for help. They trained me to be a utility, not a person. And because I wanted to be loved, I became useful instead. I walked past her to the counter where the mail was piled up. My bank statement was sitting on top, already opened. I pulled it out. My stomach dropped. The education fund I had been building since college, $15,000 intended for my master's degree, was gone. The balance read 0. "Where is it?" I asked, holding up the paper. Gary, my father, walked in from the living room, holding a beer. He looked at the paper, then at me, with a look of pure exhaustion. "Don't start, Linda. Tyler needed a bridge loan." "A bridge loan? You stole $15,000 from me." "We invested it," Cynthia corrected, finally looking at me. "Tyler has a crypto opportunity. It's going to triple in a month. He needed the capital to show his investors he had skin in the game. We did it for the family." "It's my money," I said. "I worked double shifts for that. And Tyler is building an empire," Gary snapped. "He needs a win right now." "Why are you always so dramatic? You have a job. You can make more money. Tyler is trying to build a future for all of us." I looked at them, my mother, who blocked my calls to avoid guilt, and my father, who watched her do it. For years, I had been the invisible mechanic of this family engine. I wrote Tyler's college essays because he was too creative for grammar. I managed Gary's blood pressure medication schedules. I curated Cynthia's social media so she looked like the perfect suburban matriarch. I kept the machinery of their lives running smoothly, oiling the gears with my own time and money, while they called me cold and unfeeling. "You didn't ask," I said. "You just took it." "We knew you'd say yes," Cynthia said, turning back to her iPad. "You always help. It's who you are." She was right. That was who I was. The fixer, the bank, the safety net. But as I looked at the 0 on that page, I realized something. A safety net only works if someone is there to catch you. When I fell at O'Hare, I hit the concrete. They thought I was resilient. They were about to find out that resilience isn't just about enduring pain. It's about having the strength to stop taking it. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the vase of dead flowers sitting on the counter. I didn't give them the satisfaction of seeing me break. I looked at my mother, swiping through her tablet, and my father, nursing his beer, and realized that my anger was a resource they had been mining for decades. If I yelled, they would call me hysterical. If I cried, they would call me weak. They fed on my reactions because it reassured them that I was still engaged, still playing my part in their dysfunction. So I starved them. I turned around, walked up the stairs to my childhood bedroom, and closed the door. The lock clicked with a finality that felt like a gunshot. I sat at my desk and opened my laptop. The screen glow illuminated the room in a cold, blue light. This wasn't revenge. It was administrative restructuring. For years, I had been the silent partner in the business of their lives, the one who kept the lights on and the data flowing. Now, I was liquidating my assets. I started with the phone plan. It was in my name, a relic from when Gary's credit score tanked 5 years ago. I logged into the carrier's portal. 3 lines. Cynthia, Gary, Tyler. I didn't hesitate. I selected remove line for each of them. A warning box popped up. This action is irreversible. Service will cease immediately. I clicked confirm. Downstairs, I heard a confused shout from Tyler. Mom? Why isn't the Wi-Fi working? I moved to the streaming services next. Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, Amazon Prime, all tied to my credit card. All essentially subsidies for their boredom. I didn't just cancel them. I changed the passwords first, then removed the payment method, ensuring the accounts would be locked out instantly. It was petty, maybe. But when you've been treated like a utility, shutting off the power isn't cruelty. It's maintenance. Then came the most important step. I navigated to the credit bureaus. Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. I initiated a total freeze on my social security number. If they were willing to invest my education fund without asking, I wasn't going to wait around to see what loan Tyler tried to take out in my name next. I locked it all down. The house was quiet now. They were probably rebooting the router, blaming the storm. Never imagining that the glitch was sitting upstairs, systematically erasing herself from their ledger. I pulled my suitcase from the closet. I didn't pack everything. I left the clothes Cynthia bought me because she wanted me to dress more ladylike. I left the photo albums where I was always in the background, blurry and out of focus. I took my laptop, my documents, and the coat that wasn't warm enough for Chicago but was the only one I owned. At 3 a.m., the house was silent. I walked downstairs, my boots soft on the carpet. I stopped at the kitchen island, right where Cynthia had sat, ignoring me hours earlier. I pulled a sticky note from the drawer and wrote 5 words. Good luck with the bills. I stuck it to the fridge. Then I opened the front door and stepped out. The wind hit me instantly, biting and fierce. But for the first time in my life, I didn't feel cold. I felt light. I walked to my car, the snow crunching under my boots, and didn't look back at the dark windows. They were asleep, comfortable in a house kept warm by a daughter they thought they owned. They were in for a very rude awakening. It took exactly 19 days for them to realize I was gone. Not because they missed my presence at the dinner table, and not because they wondered if I was safe in the dead of winter. They noticed, because the billing cycle rolled over. I was sitting in my new apartment, a studio the size of a walk-in closet with a radiator that hissed like an angry cat when my phone lit up. I had unblocked them temporarily. A morbid curiosity to see how long it would take for the other shoe to drop. First came the notification from the family group chat. A screenshot of a payment declined email from the internet provider. Then, the voicemail from Cynthia. I played it on speaker while I unpacked my few remaining books. Her voice wasn't worried. It was indignant. Linda, you need to call me immediately. The internet is down, and your father can't watch his game. I don't know what you did to the account, but you are being incredibly selfish. We are a family. You don't just turn off the lights on people you love. Selfish. There it was again. The word they used whenever I stopped setting myself on fire to keep them warm. I didn't call back. I didn't fix it. I let them sit in the dark. An hour later, Tyler texted. No hello, no apology for the airport, no mention of the stolen $15,000. Just a link to a listing for a luxury high-rise condo in River North. Floor-to-ceiling windows, concierge service, $3,000 a month. Tyler, need a favor. Moving out of the basement. The landlord is being a jerk about my credit score. Crypto crash wasn't my fault, obviously. Need you to co-sign the lease. Dad said you would. I stared at the screen, blinking. He had stolen my savings to fund a gambling addiction he called investing. Lost it all. And now wanted me to put my name on a lease he definitely couldn't afford. It was so delusional it was almost impressive. Me? No. Tyler, Don't be a bitch. It's just a signature. I'm good for the rent. I have big deals closing next month. Me. I'm not co-signing, Tyler. I'm not paying your bills anymore. Ask your investors. The response was immediate and nuclear. My phone started vibrating with notifications from people I hadn't spoken to in months. Cousins, aunts, family friends. My Aunt Patricia, a woman who only called on birthdays to criticize my weight, sent a long, winding text. Linda, honey, your mother is worried sick. She says you're having some kind of mental breakdown, blocking family, cutting off support, lashing out. It's not like you. Do we need to call someone? I realized what they were doing. They were controlling the narrative. They couldn't admit that their dutiful daughter had walked away because they abused her financial kindness. That would make them look bad. So, they invented a story where I was the unstable one. I wasn't setting boundaries. I was having an episode. I wasn't escaping. I was lost. It was a brilliant strategy. It garnered them sympathy and delegitimized my anger in one move. If I screamed now, I'd just prove them right. I didn't reply to Patricia. I didn't defend myself. I took a screenshot of Tyler's demand for the luxury condo and saved it to a folder on my laptop labeled evidence. They thought they were shaming me into submission. They didn't realize they were just giving me more ammunition for the war they didn't know was coming. I realized the extent of their betrayal on a Tuesday afternoon. Standing in a leasing office that smelled like vanilla and money, I had found a one-bedroom apartment in Lincoln Park, exposed brick. Actual sunlight. A place that didn't smell like damp wool. I had the salary to afford it. I had the references. I handed the leasing agent my application with a smile. Ready to sign. 10 minutes later, she came back. She wasn't smiling anymore. She slid a single sheet of paper across the desk, face down. We can't approve the lease, she said, her voice dropping to that polite, pitying whisper people use when your card declines. Your credit score came back. It's significantly below our threshold. I stared at her. That's impossible. I have zero debt. I pay everything in full. You have $40,000 in outstanding credit card debt, she said. Most of it is in collections. I didn't argue or make a scene. I took the paper, went to my car, opened my laptop, and logged directly into the credit bureau. One click was enough. The screen filled with red numbers. It wasn't a mistake. It was a massacre. 5 premium credit cards, opened 3 years ago, maxed out and defaulted. The authorized user on every account was Tyler. He hadn't just asked for help last week, he'd stolen my social security number years ago. Probably from the tax documents I used to file for him. While I was saving pennies in college, he was buying bottle service in River North on my credit. The betrayal stopped being emotional. It was criminal. I didn't confront him or call my mother. That only gives liars time to rewrite history. Instead, I went straight to a forensic accountant my company used for audits. I put the report on his desk. I want everything traced and certified for court, I said. He looked at me. This is your brother? No, I replied. This is the man who stole my future. Within a week, we built the file charges, matched his Instagram posts, card applications traced back to my mother's home Wi-Fi. She knew, or chose not to know. Either way, she was complicit. While they thought I was falling apart, I was turning their golden boy into a case number. At his Entrepreneur of the Year gala, I sat quietly with a USB drive in my clutch. When Tyler took the stage and talked about family support, I walked to the AV booth. His presentation vanished. My credit report filled the screen. It's not a glitch, I said into the silence. It's an audit. Slide by slide, the truth appeared. Instagram flexes beside stolen charges. IP logs from my mother's router. My education fund wired into his crypto wallet. The room gasped. Tyler froze. My mother screamed. I walked out before the applause could turn to panic. Outside, police lights flooded the driveway. Tyler accused me of hacking him. My mother claimed I was unstable. I didn't argue. I handed the officer the notarized forensic audit. Minutes later, Tyler was in handcuffs. Now, my apartment is quiet in a way that feels clean. Tyler was denied bail. My parents aren't fighting for innocence, only a plea deal. I blocked them everywhere. One email slipped through. Subject: We forgive you. I deleted it. I lost my family. But I got my life back. I'm not the fixer. Not the bank. Just Linda. And for the first time, that's enough. If you've ever been burned to keep others warm, you're not crazy, and you're not alone.